Hi, I'm Chris Lewis, firefighter for the Lakeville Fire Department, and welcome to another edition of On Call. The goal of this program is to educate and inform the citizens of Lakeville about how their all-volunteer fire department trains and responds to emergencies. Let's take a look at what's coming up on this edition of On Call. The City of Lakeville Police and Fire Department staged a mock car crash to show the Lakeville North students the perils of driving distracted or under the influence. Next, Fire Chief Mike Meyer walks us through auto extrication training. I will get you caught up on the latest happenings with the fire department. Then, Fire Inspector Jay O'Connell answers a viewer's question about carbon monoxide detectors. And Spot the Fire Dog sits down with Fire Marshal Brian Carsonson to talk about laws and safety tips regarding fireworks. All right, we're here today with Officer Andy Henches. Thanks for being here.
No problem.
And we just participated in the mock crash. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what we're doing here today.
Sure. My name is Andy Henches with the Lakeville Police Department, and I've currently assigned the school resource officer position at Lakeville North, so I'm on loan from the Lakeville Police Department.
Okay.
So today what we're talking about is the mock crash.
2 out of every 10 Americans in our country will be involved in alcohol-impaired driving crash at some point in time in their lives.
We're coming for you right now, okay? So just hold on 1 minute.
The reason why we have this mock crash is we just want to bring awareness to the students. We figure prevention is always the best thing we can do. Our hope is not to have this type of incident happen.
Okay, so why this time of year are we doing this here in the spring?
This time of year, why we choose it, and we may change it up, but right now because of prom. This is prom time. And as we know, unfortunately, that some students may engage in an activity that's illegal, whether it's drugs or alcohol, and we want to make them aware of decisions you make can affect not only the people in this crash, but a multitude of people you wouldn't even expect to affect. We make this as realistic as we possibly can, starting from the police responding to making an arrest if we see there is some type of illegal activity happening that caused the crash, to, you can see, cutting up of vehicles, removing patients that need to be either airlifted or by ambulance, or if there's deceased, we go as far as showing the hearse show up and removing the deceased from the scene. So what the mock crash is, it's a very collaborative effort. We're talking Lakeville Fire, Alina Ambulance, we've got North Air Care with the helicopter, we've got some sound people that come out and donate their time, we've got the county attorney comes out and he speaks for us, and then we also have a family, and it's been a number of years, the Backstrom family, because of their tragic story of losing their 3 sons.
I think of the clothes of my son, Justin. When I got him from the coroner's office, they were covered in glass. In a moment, in the blink of an eye, your lives can be turned upside down, either because of a choice you make or because of a choice someone else makes.
Every one of you has this incredible life. You were created for a purpose. You have an amazing value. And so it's our hope and our prayer that something that you hear today, something that you see, will cause you to rearrange your priorities and determine what is really important in life.
These are 100% preventable. Someone dying in a car crash can be preventable. In the cause of these, unfortunately, a lot of times, if it's not alcohol or drugs, it's distracted driving, it's speeding, and cell phone use or other things. They're not focusing on the #1 job, driving. This is one of the few events that we do here at the school where it's so quiet, because it's such a impactful thing that we put on that I don't think we heard anybody talk the entire time, and especially that moment, which I think when they play the music with the White Senior Home showing up, it's impactful. I mean, you can see tears in the crowd. I'm talking from students to staff to community members that are here observing it, and especially for emergency responders. I mean, we go to these things way too often, and our hope is that we never have to do this. We know that's not possible, but our hope and our realistic goal is reduction in these kind of crashes.
All right, well, thanks for being here today and telling us about what we were doing and what other resources are available for the community.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Appreciate it. Coming up, Fire Chief Mike Meyer walks us through auto extrication training.
Welcome to another edition of Chief's Corner. I'm Fire Chief Mike Meyer. Today I'm joined by our training chief, Todd Sellner. Welcome.
Thank you.
Today we went through auto extrication, so explain a little bit of what we saw today as far as we did different scenarios or different pieces, so kind of walk us through that.
So some of the scenarios, what we did was use, for stabilization, we use struts to stabilize a vehicle that could be on its side.
Concerned about stability right now. The more that you're into the car, as far as in that center part where you're kneeling, the potential before you get everything set is that the car could tip. So if you're working here and here, it keeps you further out of the danger zone. Because it's such a flat strap, it'll get pulled underneath the car. Got enough at your end? Okay, you're good. You're plenty good now.
And we'll use the extrication tools if we have to extricate a victim and get them out of the car and the doors don't open. We may have to cut them open or pry them open. Put some blocks underneath the car right here. Put that spreader there and there. That dash will be lifted like 6 inches a second.
And then we use something, airbags. So what would you use airbags for?
Yep, the airbags are used to lift. They could be used to lift the vehicle if it had to get off of something or off of a possible victim. They'll lift the car up, and then we can put cribbing underneath it to stabilize it.
Always 2 pins in. How often do we as a department train on auto extrication?
We train a minimum of twice a year. We have the luxury of using cars down here that have been impounded, or we also use some of the local salvage yards. They donate the cars for us to utilize.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining me today and explaining what we do in auto extrication.
Let's take a look at a few things that have happened around LFD. On Saturday, May 6th, Fire Station 4 hosted a blood drive. Lakeville residents volunteered their time and their blood to help benefit the American Red Cross. On May 14th, Stations 3 and 4 responded to a kitchen fire at Kingsley Shores. Chief 3 arrived to smoke coming from the second floor unit. It turns out the smoke was coming from a plastic container left on the stove. Engine 3 assisted in the ventilation of smoke from the unit. On May 16th, Station 1 responded to a possible lightning strike on a home. Crews arrived on scene to light smoke and heavy damage to the roof from lightning hit. Fire was found in the attic area of the home, and the call was upgraded to a structure fire. Station 4 was brought in to assist. Crews had to open the ceiling in 3 areas of the home to get to the fire, and the family was displaced from the home. On May 28th, Station 3 responded to a vehicle accident in the front of a home. Crews arrived on scene to find 3 occupants receiving treatment by Alina. The vehicle had traveled through multiple front yards, struck a tree, and then came to a stop on a flower planter in front of a home. Speed was a contributing factor. On June 2nd, Station 1 responded to a dumpster fire on Holloway Lane. Crews quickly put out the smoldering debris on a very hot afternoon. And those are just some of the things happening around Lakeville Fire Department. Coming up, Fire Inspector Jay O'Connell answers a viewer's question about carbon monoxide detectors. And Spot the Fire Dog sits down with Fire Marshal Brian Carstensen to talk about laws and safety tips regarding fireworks.
Check your boat, trailer, and gear for aquatic invasive species before leaving the access. It's the law. Clean off plants, animals, and mud. Drain your boat, live well, and bait containers, and leave plugs out while traveling. Rinse boat, live well, and gear with hot water. Spray with high pressure, or dry for at least 5 days.
I'm doing my part to protect our lakes. Hello, I'm Jay O'Connell, Fire Inspector with the City of Lakeville. Today for our question from a resident is Bryler, and his question is, I have a CO alarm and it's showing the letters ERR on it. So what do? I've tried to replace the batteries and I can't get the message to go away. So I thought we'd stop out at the house today and take a look at the CO alarms and some smoke alarms since we're at the house, and give you some ideas on what we can do. So here's our CO alarm that's given us the problem with the ERR on it. So I'm unplugging it. And with the ERR, normally the carbon monoxide alarms are only good for 5 to 6 years. And what I've found is that there's a date on here, and this company, Nighthawk, is now making their alarms go ERR. So even if you replace the battery, which this one does not have a battery, it will still keep beeping ERR. So basically what you need to do is to replace this with another carbon monoxide alarm. All right, carbon monoxide alarms, there's a state statute that says that it needs to be within 10 feet of sleeping areas in your home. So if you have a 2-story house, you need to have one upstairs, and if you have a bedroom in the basement, you need to have a second carbon monoxide alarm. So once you replace this, plug that back in the outlet, that should solve your problem. But since we're here, we're right in the hallway, we've actually got a smoke alarm that I'd like to look at too. So with our smoke alarm here, I wanted to look at this one because I noticed it doesn't have a low battery. So if you do a quarter turn, you can pull it down, and you can see this one is electronic. And it does have a battery pouch there. So these, you really have to wiggle to get them out because you've never taken those apart. And this one does have a battery backup in it. But you want to look at the date on these. And with smoke alarms, you want to replace them after 10 years. The sensor starts to get dirty on them. You vacuum your carpet, but do you ever think to vacuum the smoke alarm? So if you vacuum around it and around the sensor, that'll help, but the sensors, they just die after 10 years. And a smoke alarm, that's your cheapest insurance policy. When this thing goes up, it'll wake you up, you can get out of the house. So we want to make sure that you replace them after 10 years. That's actually a recommendation from the Minnesota State Fire Marshal's office. So when you're working with your carbon monoxide alarm, come and check the date on your smoke alarm. Okay, Bryler. Well, thanks for inviting us out to check on your problem with that ERR and carbon monoxide. But if you have other questions that you'd like to submit, you can do that by going to our website or emailing us at lfdoncall@lakevillemn.gov, or you can call the fire station at 952-985-4700. Thanks for your question.
Everyone that is I, Spot the Fire Dog, because I like to spot and stomp out the fires. And hey, joining me today is Fire Marshal Brian Carstensen. How you doing today, Brian?
I'm doing good, Spot. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, but you know what? It's hot out today. It's summertime, and that means fireworks are right around the corner. I was wondering if you could help me with a couple questions that I have regarding fireworks. Is that possible?
I think so. I'll do my best.
Okay, the first question I have, what is the difference between illegal and legal fireworks besides the spelling?
Besides the spelling,
Yeah.
legal fireworks are ones that don't leave the ground. They just basically have showers of sparks. They don't explode. Sparklers fall into that where I hold on to them and basically just have sparks coming off of them. Illegal fireworks are those that go aerial and or they explode. So anything that goes aerial and or explodes is illegal.
Okay, now the legal ones, like we can get at Target or Cub or when they set up a tent in here, those are the ones that are legal, correct? They're not selling illegal ones here in town.
That is correct. They should be selling legal fireworks anywhere in the state of Minnesota.
Okay, and illegal fireworks are ones that are imported from other states, right?
That is correct.
Now, Brian, where is the best place to set off legal fireworks?
The legal fireworks are, surprisingly, a lot of people are unaware, but the legal fireworks that are sold in Minnesota are not legal to be used everywhere.
I didn't know that.
They can only be used on private property. If it's a public area, such as a city park, city property, school property, the street in front of your home, all considered public property, and they are not legal to be used in those areas.
Okay, Brian, tell me, what is the safest way to light these legal fireworks?
The safest way is to use a lighter and light what we refer to as a punk. It's actually a piece that you just light, it stays hot on the end, and you can use that and stay far away from the fuse when you light that. Make sure you're away from structures, combustibles, anything that will burn, and again, use them on private property. When you use them, understand the heat that comes off of these is much more than people realize. For instance, a sparkler. The end of a sparkler is in the neighborhood of about 1,200 degrees when it's burning.
How many degrees?
1,200 degrees.
Oh my goodness, our ovens don't even get that hot, do they?
That is correct. We put kind of a little circle around our ovens, and we're all concerned about our ovens, as we should be, but they're usually 350 degrees. Wow. Yet we hand sparklers to small children at 1,200 degrees, and we tend to find that that's cute. So make sure there's adults around and use them wisely. When we're disposing of fireworks, make sure that you're not placing them in the garbage. Many times we've had several fires over the last few years with fireworks being discarded and then thrown in the trash that evening. Make sure that you're letting them sit out overnight. Preferably throw them in a pail of water and soak those overnight, and make sure that we're not throwing those into a combustible garbage can, you know, an hour or even 2 hours after you use them. There are some pieces that remain hot on those. Leave them out, soak them in water, and discard them the next day.
Very, very good advice. Well, Brian, I want to thank you so much for your time. Now, if anybody has any questions about any of the information, is there a number that they can call or an email at the fire department?
The best is to call us. We're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. General number is 952-985-4700.
And if it's an emergency, they should dial 911, correct?
That is correct.
Well, thank you so much again for your time, Brian. And hey, this is a Spot the Fire Dog, and we'll see you next time, because I, Spot, like to spot and stomp out the fires. Oh, we'll see you next time, folks. You gonna treat for ice cream?
Thanks for joining us for another edition of On Call. If you have questions, comments, an idea for the program, or would like to send a question in for the Ask the Firefighter segment, please call 952-985-4700 or send an email to the address at the bottom of your screen. Thanks for joining us, and all fire units are clear.